If it's not fun, why bother?
Nintendo's reach into the world's collective conscious is comparable to Disney, with 2 of the top 10 highest grossing franchises being under their umbrella, including number 1. Nintendo is uncontested in the video game world, the next highest franchise being Call of Duty, down at 15th. Nintendo is one of the few companies not only to survive the game crash of '83, but they released the Famicom in the same year to incredible success. While other companies perished as the games industry shrank from $3 billion to just $100 million, Nintendo found success releasing the NES just 2 years later in North America. And there's a key reason for Nintendo's success: their fearless drive of innovation.
Remember how you felt when you first heard the name Wii? Or remember what was said when you found out about Nintendogs, or Brain Age, or a dual-screen portable device? You may have been puzzled.
Puzzling is an understatement for some of the choices Nintendo has pursued over the years.
This is where Nintendo goes, fuck you guys, I'm doing weirdo shit now, leaving Microsoft and Sony to duke it out.
But Nintendo's weird shit didn't start from the Wii. Nintendo has always looked for new ways to play. They're always setting trends in ways players interact with their games. Controllers are probably the first that come to mind.
It was the first to have the classic setup of the directional pad on the left and the buttons on the right, the first to have left and right shoulder buttons, the first to have a 360-degree thumbstick, and the first to bring motion control to the mass market.
Wii motion controls, gaming accessories, touchscreens, even virtual reality. Nintendo was always creating parts of the market rather than cashing in on them. Which leads, of course, to copycats.
So hey, why not just follow whatever Nintendo's doing?
But there's something to take note of. Nintendo's attempts don't always succeed.
This is basically a shitty version of the Virtual Boy. Yes, I said that. As if the Virtual Boy isn't already shitty enough.
Even if something crashes and burns, Nintendo is always looking to innovate the way players play. Nintendo is not one to always play it safe. Unlike many others, they're willing to take risks in order to innovate. When you innovate like this, of course you're going to have flops. It's inevitable. But on the flip side, if you're the first one to make something great, you can truly change the industry. An example is mobile gameplay. From Game & Watch to Game Boy, DS to 3DS, and now the Switch. Nintendo is always making games and ways to play that are accessible to everyone. In fact, Nintendo has realized accessibility is an important tool for gaming. Doug Bowser even saying, Nintendo games are for everyone. And that's a major challenge, making a game for everyone. When you make a FIFA game, you know who your audience is. Same with Call of Duty, same with Street Fighter. But Mario or Mario Kart have a wider or more varied group who's going to play. So how do you know what your players are going to respond to? Which brings us to the most important thing for Nintendo.
If it's not fun, why bother?
Nintendo prioritizes fun above all else when they design a game. When designing Super Mario 64, the game's designer Shigeru Miyamoto said this: "One of our big development themes was letting the players move Mario around any way they wanted. We wanted to make a game where just moving Mario around was fun." And this seems so simple and obvious, but it's also so important, because moving Mario is the absolute base core mechanic of any Mario game. By focusing on this part over everything else, you're prioritizing how the players will enjoy most of the game. And I cannot stress this enough. Moving Mario in Mario games is fun. The way he starts with his mini steps, how he builds up speed and then leans into the running animations. Everything about the controls are tight and smooth. You can pinpoint your movement. These are all calculated and specific design decisions, and ones Nintendo pioneered. After all, the most important part of any game is the gameplay. And that attention to design makes their games so accessible and hold up years later. New players to Mario 64 can enjoy the fluid movement controls of Mario, while experts can push those controls to their absolute limits. And people still are. Which really shows how these designs hold up even now. Mario 64 controls better than so many new AAA games. And while other gaming companies seem to focus on innovation and on gameplay, Nintendo sees these things as interwoven. focusing their innovations always on what makes the experience more fun. And that seems to be Nintendo. Fun and innovative gameplay. After all, their own mission is
to surprise and delight with the unexpected.
And I honestly think that's the reason they've stuck around for so long and found so much success. They're not out to have the best graphics or the best hardware. They're out to surprise and delight with fun games. Their whole design philosophy is built around it, and that's why you can go back and play Super Mario World even now and still have an absolute blast on a game smaller than 4 megabytes in file size. After all, you could have the most powerful gaming specs around, but if the game you're playing isn't fun, well,
If it's not fun,